Hello everyone, welcome to Practical Diplomacy. It's time for something more lighthearted after the troubles of the consular world in the previous chapter. When you talk with diplomats, if you ask them about the best stories of their career, I can guarantee you that the craziest ones will be from their time as consul. Because they all have encountered weird stuff, and I promise if you become a consul, funny unpredictability will rule supreme over your everydays. An eternal gem from one of my postings, it was in Thailand, was when our citizen was spending his well-deserved holiday nights in exotic brothels. Good for him, no problem with that. However, as the action unfolded that night, it turned out that his escort lady was in fact a ladyboy. Now this guy felt deceived and stopped all activities. The girl said, okay, but he still has to pay for my time. He was outraged and some minor shoving around ensued, in which the guy got to the ground and was held down, as the girl was also a Muay Thai fighting enthusiast and practitioner. Police was called, and finally they called the consulate, explaining the situation to me. It was around 4 a.m., adding that if he paid a certain amount right there, then he could leave with a warning. That means they wanted a bribe. Okay, they put him on the line, I explained the situation to him, but of course, being a diplomatic official, I cannot suggest bribing anyone. I say pay the amount in restitution. And as if he didn't understand his own situation, he exclaims to me, restitution? But sir, she has a dick. I'm not paying any restitution to her. So finally, I convinced him to just pay to whoever he feels like. They will share the money anyway. All right. Another morning, I see that my consul colleague looks exhausted beyond belief, so I ask what happened. Well, it turns out that she received a night call from another police department that our citizen, a lady, is running around naked on the beach, and that is indecent exposure, according to local laws. She seems drugged, unfocused, and not communicating with anyone, apart from randomly shouting things. All they knew about her in the bar she's been drinking in was that she is our citizen. So the police put Madam Consul on speaker and approaches the lady, with my colleague trying cluelessly what she could possibly say to make this poor soul come to her senses. And after like an hour of back and forth incoherent shouting and convincing, this woman finally calmed down. She accepted a blanket, so she stopped being naked, and the case was successfully solved. When I was posted in Warsaw, Poland, I got a call from a truck driver that I must help him or else 15,000 chickens will die. What happened was that on the Ukrainian side of the border, just before entering Poland, he filled up his truck with gasoline, but his company credit card malfunctioned and couldn't pay. Obviously, the petrol station didn't let him leave, and it was a Saturday. He couldn't reach his headquarters to resolve the matter. As he told us, this was nothing out of the ordinary. He could spend his time in the truck until his boss takes care of business. Normally, he wouldn't care. The problem is that now he is transporting the aforementioned 15,000 chickens who are fed food and water by an automatic system which runs out at the estimated time of arrival. So if he spends the whole weekend waiting, he will arrive with 15,000 dead chickens. Wow, that was quite a new issue at our embassy. So, long story short, we went to poultry rescue mode, alerted anyone who could have had any connection with this issue, and after a few hours, finally, we could settle the deal with the help of a real-time money transfer and a Polish veterinarian who lived on the Ukrainian side of the border. And also for a few days, we called ourselves the Chicken Squad. Another colleague once received a random call asking to connect to the person in charge of foreign intelligence or espionage at the embassy. I mean, we wish we had the budget for such positions, but even if we did, does he think we would just tell him that we do? And tell him who they are exactly? Wow. A friend of mine working at one of our embassies in Eastern Africa had a group requesting European visa as a football team traveling for an under-21 tournament. As it happened, this consul did have a football in his room at the embassy, so he gave it to the guys, asking to kick it around a little bit. And these poor fellows couldn't make a proper kick if their life depended on it. No surprise, when my friend called the tournament organizers, they had no idea of any African participants, so visa denied. I myself had applicants, students, who had no idea whatsoever about their university, let alone any documents that would support the claim that they are studying there. So, visa denied. We regularly had supposedly engaged couples, one our citizen, the other local, who not only didn't have any documents supporting their engagement, but didn't even have any common languages to communicate with each other. Now, I understand that entry to the European Union is desirable, but visa denied. The creativity in explaining and reasoning visa request forms has always been and will always be infinite. There was a guy who was caught smuggling cocaine by the Peruvian authorities, and he was put away for more than 6 years, then released and expelled. And as he was our citizen, we organized his logistics leaving the country. So I went with him, and as he was going through each step, like check-in, immigration, boarding, etc., I was always presenting the necessary documents to the officials. And so he saw that I myself am passing through each stage simply with my diplomatic pass, with no inspection whatsoever. So he did the math, and before boarding, he turned to me, saying, "Sir, I see you move around here quite easily, so if you want to make a few $1,000s on the side, I can link you up with the right people." That from the guy who has just spent 6 years in prison for drug smuggling. Wow. Believe me, these stories could go on forever. So if you meet any consuls, pick their brain, because you may either learn from their stories or just have a good laugh. Now, I must emphasize here that all of the seemingly crazy cases constitute a specific human situation. Sometimes personal struggles, hardships lead to the absurdity. Therefore, even in the craziest setting, or even facing the most blatant lie, one must approach the people involved with absolute respect and human kindness, as we never know what may be the underlying causes. But then back at the office or at home in the evening, well, the human psyche sometimes ventilates these strange situations out through humor or just simply a senseless laughter. And they do remain some of the best and funniest stories of diplomatic life. Thanks for watching. Keep promoting peace, and see you in the next chapter.